understand me. But it's so nice to be here in this warm atmosphere in many meetings, because coming from Finland and a very, very cold spring there, about 10 degrees now when I left Helsinki yesterday. So this is nice. Also, I know very well that this is not what you really wait, because this is an ecological catastrophe, I understand, for the nature. But for a small human like me, it's nice. Once. So, now.
Fine.
I have my own here. Well, the sustainability in libraries is, of course, it's not just mode of action, because it's the core business we do, recycling the materials and so on. For the UN Sustainable Goals in Oodi, we have focused on those issues which are like equality issues, responsible consumption, climate change, and value issues like peace, justice, freedom of expression. I'm not sure if the freedom of expression is really there in the Sustainable Goals, but it's in those values behind it. And here, well, once again. And then this equitable education and lifelong learning. Those bolded texts are from IFLA's pages, so they are common to all libraries in the world, I think. All libraries support literacy programs, provide a safe space for learning. And we organize a lot of literary events in Oodi. Before the pandemic, we had more than 1,000 different events, and most of them were somehow connected to literary or literature. Okay. This equitable education and lifelong learning, we have systematically done in Helsinki City Library for decennias already good programs with schools and kindergartens and the whole education system, so that all the kids come to library regularly. Not so often, because we only have 37 libraries in Helsinki, including Oodi. And all the kids come in classes 1, 3, and 7. They come to the library. But now we have new target groups. Those elderly people, immigrants with no Finnish skills at all, maybe no English skills either. So it's hard to understand somehow how we can have services for them and how to make their lives some improvement also. And all those people who don't have access to web and mobile services. And during the pandemic, this was really, really hard to see that all the services went to the internet and web services, and those people didn't have devices at home. So when we closed for 2 months the libraries in Helsinki, they didn't have any place to go to or reach those services. And many of those people are also immigrants and also elderly people. So they are common groups. But what we do for lifelong learning, we have senior peer learning clubs on ICT skills. They have been very, very popular, and it's easier to get help from your peer than someone who is supervising and telling how you do everything wrong and why can't you understand. It's easier to get help from each other. And that's something we support, and why we are facilitating that kind of services where people can help each other. Also, we have language cafes where people can learn more Finnish and Swedish, because we are a bilingual country, Swedish and Finnish, so both languages exist side by side. And then digital guidance with computers. We are helping people to bridge the digital gap we now have in the whole society, because there are so many people who can't understand all the digital world at all. And it's a main point in reducing inequalities is to have the same possibilities, opportunities in the world. Equitable access to information, freedom of expression, freedom of association and assembly, and privacy are central to individuals' independence, said IFLA. But we have these lifeline marginalized groups who may struggle to access information. And what we do in Oodi. Here we had Harry Potter night, so our staff is showing what kind of big diversity we could have on the staff, but really we don't, because we are too similar with some kind of education background, and well, we have quite a good balance in female and male staff members, and good balance in the age groups, but otherwise we are white almost totally, and no physical disabilities either. So we have a lot to do with these issues also on our staff. And sometimes the library's values, the biggest values in libraries in Finland are the freedom of expression and equality, and maybe they are the biggest in the whole world, I think. But sometimes they are in conflict with each other, and we have now, during the pandemic, been with some issues, because we have met quite aggressive anti-vaccinists and anti-COVID demonstrators and in the library, because Oodi is situated in the just in the front of the main citizen square where all the big demonstrations take place. So we always meet what's happening in the society. Well, when the pandemic situation got easier during 2-3 months, we met this Russian aggressive war in Ukraine, and then there was also some problems how to take the freedom of expression value, because we also have a lot of Russian newspapers, and their war propaganda was in the shelves for everyone to see, and people were running from St. Petersburg to Helsinki, and then they met the same propaganda issues there in Oodi's shelves. But we didn't take those newspapers. We didn't censor them, but we put there a note that you can also follow the war news from these and these and these sources, so that people could get more information from different sources. And, well, this picture is from the Oodi's gender-neutral toilets, where I have kept some aggressive, or maybe not so aggressive, but some angry people saying that they don't like to go because there are male and female in the same room, but it's very, very large place, and it's only the hand-washing area, which is common, of course, because all those cabins are private. And you can see people when they are just in the glass, nose in the glass, but when they go a little bit deeper in the cabin, you can't see anything. But it has, some people are very angry also that they think that they can be seen. But the value of equality has impacts on many different things, like a recruiting process. Like I said, we have 2 homogeneous staff now, and we must think it over. Planning and building of buildings and services so that they are so accessible and available as possible, and also linguistic and ethnic diversity. And so-called safer space instructions, which we have made together with both together with staff and together with our customers. Here is one case which is well, the objective on the Finnish Public Libraries Act promote that active citizenship, democracy and freedom of expression are the most important things in public library services. But then when people are very, very active, they can also be active in a way that is not safe for the other people. And we have met some racistic nationalist groups. And one thing that I'm not quite sure if this is a sustainable issue at all, but I think I like to tell you, because things are not so straightforward ever, and there's always problems when you try to do your best. There's always 2 sides. And, we gave about 8 members in a small reading circle asked me to have their reading circle in a safe place in Oodi. And then they announced it and said that this is only for brown people, because they were themselves, they were people of color, and they were the book they were handing were on people of color. So this reading cycle was announced to be only for brown people, and then they get such a social media like exploded, and there are hundreds of feedbacks, maybe 1,000, and people like to have only for Finns, only for true Finns. Her grandparents were all white Finns, and they only for those people we have to. They said that I must give them space also, but I didn't agree. So also the non-discrimination ombudsman, we have such kind of officer in Finland, and he encouraged Oodi to forbid the racists and holding the event. And this was the final decision in Oodi's side, but open space makes it easy for everyone to come, and the racists really came to open spaces in Oodi, and they had their very, very racistic reading circle there. So our reputation was really well, blackened in that way. Well, responsible consumption is easy for libraries because we are in the sharing economy, and we offer all kinds of materials for loan and reducing in those ways the carbon footprint. Here is one of the most popular machines or devices in Oodi's makerspace. The sewing machines in different modes are very, very popular. We offer a wide selection of devices and tools to use in the library, and some to borrow home. And in the urban workshop, or the makerspace, you could say, we learn new skills through peer-to-peer learning and collaboration and experimentation, and volunteers help in how to get started. We have like knitting clubs and such things there going on every Tuesday or Wednesday. And we organize workshops for fixing clothes and so on. And if you need only very short time some tool like power drill, it's easy to borrow from a library. So climate action, it's of course, it's some point of that is also this lending tools and so on. But we also, in the IFLA sites, there is this more about access to information and about information about climate change and help raise awareness. But I don't think this is so important anymore because everyone in the whole planet, I think, knows that the climate change is going on, and we don't need any more awareness, but tools to handle it and to make the change. And it's more problematic than ever. We have this green library concept also in IFLA. They have green library issues very much going on. We have are not just sharing the reliable data on the climate change, but the libraries should also take responsibility with its own actions and own infrastructures, like the buildings, how carbon neutral they are, and how about the cleaning, how much toxic materials we are using, and so on. Oodi is planned and built as energy efficient and carbon neutral as possible, but of course we have a lot of things to do still. And strong institutions is one sustainable goal. We have the picture is from one European Parliament voting place where we were there, and it's important to support the democratic institutions. So we have already been quite many times in our voting place, and I think it's and also had many political debates there. We always organize them so that there's always at least 3 different parties participating them, so there's no one can just listen one party's declarations. And just now, I think this awareness of mis- and disinformation and skills for media literacy are the most important things to do in all the libraries. We have organized a study or a research how people retrieve information in libraries, or do they all use libraries at all. People seem to trust libraries and their reliable information very much, but they don't ask anymore. I don't know if it's a thing here in Spain also, but in Nordic countries I just met my colleagues and they said it's the same. No one asks anything about vaccines or Ukraine war. They are asking about how to feed your cat or make ginger beer, but not about very important things. They ask each other, and so that's where we are in the big bubbles all the time, with just repeating the same ideas. In 2019, we organized some fact-checking events, but then came the pandemic, and now we must go on with these issues more. So we strong institutions here in the Citizen Square. This picture is taken from Oodi's balcony. You can see the Parliament House in the backside, and in the front is Citizen Square, and there are people watching football game. So I think it's strong institutions, 2 of them in the same picture. And I warmly welcome you to visit Oodi like a robot Veera also. Thank you.